This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Morning.
Please hold caller.
Morning, boys.
Morning, Jim. That was just a bit of old cricket commentary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big news this week. I've spent this week. I watched 3 hours of the Mother Teresa documentary on Sky Documentaries. It was cracking stuff.
Oh,
cracking stuff.
Was that romantic night in? Was that Valentine's celebration?
It was 2 romantic nights in with my partner. And at the end, after we'd watched the last one, I went to make a cup of tea and I was like round the corner in the kitchen. And I said to Kath, honestly feel like that documentary's had quite a big influence on me. And she said, really? I said, I honestly do. She said, what kind of an influence? Meanwhile, I'd gone through the tea towel drawer and found this white tea towel with a blue trim. I then walk around the corner. And it's if you're still doing prop gags in a relationship after 21 years, I think that's a very good sign.
Yeah, but when you're saying that, it's not just confined to your relationship, right? You are quite addicted to prop gags. I went round to your house and I could sense that you were there was some preparation going on, and he was sitting there out with a yellow wig on his head.
Yes.
And I loved that he'd got the effort. I could tell he'd gone to quite a lot of effort to arrange himself.
I just heard Emily arrive and I knew she was coming down the stairs, so I started looking around for a reveal gag. Mm-hmm. And happily there was a terrible nylon yellow wig that I once hid in the bed to surprise my partner. I thought she'd think it was an animal or something, and she never mentioned it at all. Never mentioned it. And eventually I couldn't cope. After about 2 hours I thought, I can't stand it. I said, what did you think about the wig thing? She said, I said, well, did you put that there on purpose? She said, I thought you'd had somebody back here and they'd left. I said, who? Who was it who would wear a yellow nylon wig that I bought? I'm going out with Coco the Clown.
Kenny Everett, dressed as one of his characters.
Yes, someone collecting for children in need has come back with me. Was there an enormous T-shirt as well, badly printed?
The bath of beans at the foot of the bed was the giveaway, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Anyway, so that happened. And then there was, this is the Roman Catholic news update. There was an announcement this week, which I like very much, which I was reading about, and it's from the Papal Embassy to Iraq. You know, the Pope has like ambassadors everywhere, like, and the Papal Embassy has announced that it no longer has a fax service.
Uh-oh.
The Catholic Church
I genuinely
once
spilled
again,
coffee all over my top hat.
and it turns out when I looked into it that like if you want to go to one of the Pope's audience with the Pope things, you can write a letter to them, but most people fax the Vatican office asking for a thing.
Well, what does that say about the demographic?
Yeah. Also, nothing to hide.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the thing is security, because emails can get sent to other people and stuff like that. Faxes are a bit specific.
I'm sure it's security. I'm sure it's nothing to do with them being very old-fashioned.
No, nothing. The Catholic Church, very old-fashioned. I've never heard such talk.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Boys, I hope I don't need to remind you what day it is today.
Well, it's Saturday. It's my one weekly appointment, so...
It's the Eurovision Song Contest.
Glenn Maker...
Message from Glenn Maker. Message from Glenn Maker. Yes.
Has got in touch to say, hi, Frank, Emily and Alan. Good luck with Life is Like a Light in the Darkness at Eurovision. I hope you've ironed your white flowing shirt. All the best. Text from Glenn Maker.
Now, I don't know if if you're aware of this, any new listeners, but I sort of, I was just messing about and I sort of improvised a Eurovision song, and then someone made it into quite a professional. Well, I say professional, but anyway, this is me at an imaginary.
This is me, Mike Yarwood.
At an imaginary Eurovision. Oh, that bit with Mike Yarwood.
Ladies and gentlemen, this
when
is
he
me.
said, "And this is me," you'd switch it off immediately.
Oh yeah, we don't want to see you.
No,
You're terrible.
sorry, Mike. Here we go.
I can see Frank as a sort of German crooner.
And life feels like a light that's shining on in the darkness, in the darkness. And light is shining on, and light. I think we'll stop it there.
Nice tempo change.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit longer than I remembered it, but you get the gist. There will be stuff tonight that won't be that good. Brace yourself.
What is our entry, pray?
It's Daniel Honda.
It's not.
Yeah, isn't he called Daniel something like that?
What's his name? Daniel Deronda.
Sam Ryder.
Oh,
Yeah, not Daniel Deronda.
Sam
No.
Ryder. Thanks
Sam,
for the tip.
Sam Ryder, yeah.
Okay.
And the song is called Starship.
Has he
made that bit up.
Has he made it up, Al?
I think so.
You
No.
can't just lie, Frank.
No, it's called Starship.
Is it?
I'm on a starship to your heart. Yeah. Do you know it? Have you heard it?
I've heard it, but I don't think that is it.
Yeah, it goes, I'm on a starship to your heart. I am lost before I start among your stars. Yeah, it goes
Is
like
it
that.
really like that? That sounds terrible.
Oh, I quite like it. I think it's
People like
his
it.
best work.
I don't. Is that
Honda.
really what it is?
The
Al?
Honda.
I don't know.
Your
Is he
man
joking?
Honda, as I call him. That man Honda. Ryder. Is he Ryder? That man Ryder. Oh, God, it's very confusing. Ryder, Ronda.
Let's
It's
call the
Welsh.
whole thing
Yeah, it's called the whole thing.
Shonda.
Starship.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Louisa Clifford has emailed, "Hi Frank, Emily and Alan. It's called Spaceman! !
Oh,
And then she says all the best. So I just thought I would,
When it
Let
says
us know
space, is it space, comma, man?
no,
Oh,
Spaceman,
okay.
one word.
I thought it might be some
space
street
comma
thing.
man. Oh yeah, there's some. Oh, it could be a sort of social distancing message song.
But it was Sean Ryder. That's
Yeah.
what he would have said. I said it was Ryder.
It's Sam
Yes,
Ryder.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Sean
no, it wasn't
Ryder's
Sean.
Give me
I
some
wish it
space,
was
man.
Sean Ryder. That would be.
Sean Ryder singing, "Give me some space, man. You're
Sean
twisting my
Ryder.
melon, man."
Sean Ryder live as well. That would be good to see.
And a bit of Bez, come on.
I always think of Sean Ryder when he was on whatever reality thing he was on. Was it in the jungle?
I mean, he's done a few.
And they were talking about the worst thing they'd done at school. Somebody started talking about and saying, yeah, well, we did this thing where we left like a tin of paint outside the art room, and, hoping someone would trip over it. He said, oh, we set the school on fire. It burnt down, completely burnt down. Okay, what shall we talk about now? I went to a very posh hotel at the weekend. I was invited. Cliveden.
Do you know? And you did the pronunciation correctly?
Yeah, well, you got to get it. If you're going to do it, you got to buy into it completely.
Yeah.
Cliveden, have you heard of it, Al?
I would have said Cliveden, but this is exactly the problem, isn't it?
Yes.
for that place, I'm sure.
And
It is
Profumo
most, yes, it's
scandal.
most famous for the Profumo scandal, Christine Keeler and all that stuff. The
That's
pool,
how I'm sat on my chair right now.
the pool, the pool where they, manspreading. The pool where they cavorted is still untouched. Well, I say untouched. They've obviously changed it.
Can I
cleaned
just
the water.
say, which might interest you, Al,
Yeah.
my mother was photographed on that chair by that photographer.
That same
Wow.
chair.
Yes, I
Oh
have-
God, I hope she had a J cloth and a bit of Dettol.
Some rubber gloves.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to be someone sat naked on a chair and then used it on him. Oh no.
How did you find Clifton? And other things I never thought I'd ask.
I got a sat nav.
Sat nav.
Yeah, it was. We stayed not in the hotel proper, but in a thing called Spring Cottage,
Servants' quarters.
apparently was built for a place where Queen Victoria could have tea with the Duchess of something.
That's nice.
So I like the Victoria connection. But also, apparently, the bed that we slept in, so we was told by one of the worker guys, freaks hanging around, carrying your luggage, hanging around working. That's an Elvis speech about hotels. The bed that we slept in, when I say we all slept in it, me, Kath, Boz, and the dog got in at about 2 a.m. I've always been fiercely anti-dogs in beds.
Yeah.
Since, you remember I told you that time when I got in drunk and took the Staffordshire Bull Terrier was trembling with the cold in the kitchen. So I took it into my bed. And the next morning I woke up and there was like this white, like it had snowed. And I had, this was pre-duvet, I had like a eider down and the dog had scratched an enormous hole in it and bits of this white stuffing was everywhere. And I jumped out of bed furious and stepped on a still warm dog poo on the carpet.
I mean, I'm just saying, you did say you were drunk, so both of those things, I'm not convinced they were the dog's responsibility.
Oh, yeah, ice cream.
Okay.
But anyway, our dog got in bed with me and I felt it snuggling into the curvature of my back and I was just too tired to do anything about it. Anyway, the bed that we slept in was the bed that Meghan Markle slept in on her hen weekend.
Shut up.
So Boz was in there, so Ginger finally got in on the hen night. But yeah, so Meg, obviously I was a bit more excited by the Queen Victoria connection. She's, let's face it, more my age group.
Yeah, adventurous Nana.
Yeah, exactly. It's my type.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so it was my sister-in-law's 50th birthday do. That's what it was all about, the Clifton thing. I'll tell you what happened. We went in the maze. They've got a maze there.
Oh.
And I hadn't been in a maze for a long time. And of course, as you know, being lost is very much my natural state.
Mm-hmm.
You like being lost?
Well, I don't like
Yeah.
it, but I just have no choice. I get
It's
lost.
a default position, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and I thought that was, it felt legitimised in the maze. I felt really at home there because all these people were going, "Oh, no, we've been this way," and I thought, "Wow, imagine knowing which way you've been and actually recognise that's so completely." My brain doesn't work like that at all, and I was really happy just following them around and not even. Yeah, and I didn't know that the purpose of a maze is that you get to the middle of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. There's like a thing, you get your photo took on like a plinth or something. Apparently this is standard maze decorum. You get to the middle.
I love that band.
Yeah, and I had no idea, but we did it. But what I didn't, I just followed people. But it was lovely. I didn't have to worry about being lost because it was
You
for
can lean
being
into
lost.
it. I
The
love a
world
maze.
is a maze for
And-
me.
Is that the other Eurovision entry?
Maybe I'm amazed. Do you remember that?
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Wings, was it?
Wings.
Do you like a maze? I tell you what I love about a country house. Everything. I love a folly.
Ah.
Are you a fan of a folly?
Oh, I don't mind a folly.
What is a folly? What's a folly?
Somebody that's built something that doesn't really do anything. They've just built it for a lark because they were rich.
Yeah. Normally a lovely, beautiful archway, or it's sort of it's sometimes a tiny little turret or something.
Right, I feel the same way about. We recently got a gazebo in our small back garden, and when it was finished, I said to my wife, "Well, what does it do? I thought it was going to have a roof, and it's just some wood. I don't get it." So that feels like a modern version of the folly.
I thought it was like a sort of greenhouse that fits on the side of your house, a gazebo. Is that wrong?
I think you're thinking of a conservatory there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've made a complete fool of myself.
Yes, you have a little bit.
Thank God this isn't live.
The gazebo, Al, is more of a sort of trellis arrangement with floral accompaniment.
It looks like sort of big garden furniture to me, but even then it's not really. It's not actual furniture.
Is there a Yeats poem, 3 women in kimonos sitting in a gazebo? Something like
I think so. Either that or a saucy anecdote.
Yeah, exactly. It's the beginning of a joke. There's these 3 women in kimonos sitting in a gazebo.
So
Bernard, since he's been going to London, has changed considerably. I've got to tell you about the main birthday present. Jack owes my brother-in-law, and I call him brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Me and Kath live over the brush, but nevertheless,
okay.
Jack has been organising. We've been getting these emails from Jack saying, "Can you write some stuff about memories of Rachel?" And so we all wrote stuff about funny stuff and sweet stuff. And in the end, he put it all in a book, and it's 360 pages. And I mean a book. I don't mean it's in a lever art. It's a proper. It's got a dust jacket.
No.
It's got a dust jacket, Mother. Yeah, a proper dust, and it's colour pictures, and it's a book, a hardback, proper book.
Oh, that's good.
It's just about her sort of life, and people saying, "Oh, I love Rachel." So what about that? Imagine if they tried to do a book like that about me. That would be... we got this pamphlet, Frank, written by people who like you. And then there's this 9-volume Morocco-bound collection of people who don't. Oh, thanks very much. I think I'll start with the pamphlet, if I may.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, I was talking about my sister-in-law's amazing proper book about her life for a birthday present. I just thought, what about this for a texting? Most elaborate gift you've given or received? And I don't mean like expensive. I mean one where people have gone to a real effort.
Yeah.
Well, my brother-in-law made me a rack for my kettlebells for my birthday this year, like a proper industrial, like a bit of welding.
Oh God, I thought you meant wooden. A welded one.
It has wooden and metal sort of shelves, and then the sides are kind of like welded, almost like Y shapes, but.
Oh, I've got an image of that woman in Flashdance. Used to get shots of her. She'd be at the sort of dance studio, and then she'd be welding.
Yeah,
he's a lot like her.
Who's in the welding chair nowadays? Would you say?
Flashdance
probably still. Flashdance, yeah.
See, for me, I don't know if she ever. I mean, he would have stood up for her from the welding chair because he was a gentleman. But Alf Topper. The top of the track, who was like a runner from the Victor comic and then went into other comics. He was a welder and a world-class
then
runner.
Went into other comics, like he diversifies his portfolio.
He did. I think the Victor went down and he was too big. He was too big a story to be allowed to die, so he went to other comics.
Wow.
And I think he then moved into magazines like Welding Monthly.
I think he was in that.
Welders Today.
I think he was in The Mask.
The Flashdance has a lot of chairs because I think the conceit of the harsh judging panel I would still say is very much the flash dancer. Sit in that chair.
Yeah, next. That kind of.
With pencils poised and a lady with specs and a bun.
Oh, what I was thinking about? What about this for a text here? I didn't know until we were chatting a couple of weeks ago that Emily is very, very good on capitals. You know,
right.
I mean, like capital cities. I don't mean like, you know, big. I don't mean big letters.
I think it was the same chat that we discovered that I'm quite good on countries' populations, not so good on capitals, but I'm good on populations.
I'm geography. I got a CSE grade 3.
Oh. All right.
But it's only as
I had a hangover. But anyway.
Go on.
I thought, what about a texting? What I would call the competition winner capitals. Yeah. You know those capitals where you don't feel they should be the capital? I'm talking like Canberra. Clearly Sydney. Clearly Sydney should be the capital of Australia. Canberra? What are you talking about?
I got another one I'm going to throw.
Even Washington.
Where do you stand on Ottawa?
Is that what?
Do you see? I've got loads of them.
There's no real biggie that you think should be. What would you say, Toronto or something? I don't think it's a real big one.
Absolutely, Toronto. Okay. Come on.
I'm on about like Brasilia. I mean, Rio de Janeiro, one of the biggest, most famous. Yeah, I love going to the... No, we're not the capital, actually. That's Brasilia. What's that look like? What statue have they got? What's their neighbouring mountain look like? What are you talking about?
Well, controversially, I'm going to say the big one.
Go on.
DC.
Yes, but it should be New York.
Absolutely.
Even more controversially. It's got to be Glasgow for me.
Oh, come on.
Oh, God, I shouldn't have said
100. No, I think that's great.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
I'd like to take us into the outside world, if I may.
Yeah.
Louise.
Hold it.
Oh.
Outside world, whoa, the outside world. I think at the Radio Academy, they tell you that would be very unacceptable to describe our listeners, as many stations call them, as the outside world. Yeah. That we shouldn't even talk to each other directly. We should talk. When I say you, I should be talking to that person at home. But I like the idea of privileged eavesdroppers. Yeah.
Louise Lamb. Is one such privileged eavesdropper.
Okay.
You referred earlier to your brother-in-law.
Yes.
Jack, getting Rachel a rather special gift, very personalised special gift.
I'd describe it as a coffee table book about herself.
Fabulous. Louise Lamb has got in touch.
Yeah.
I love it when I say things like that because I see the comics brains ticking over.
No, I'm
what
not.
Can we get out of
I
this,
think
Lamb?
we're both fighting any Louise Lamb references.
Okay.
Yeah.
My cousin got Henry VIII. Okay, before we get too excited, from Hampton Court Palace. Can I say I've seen that Henry VIII? There's a couple in rotation.
Okay.
I mean, we should specify the actor.
I don't understand. My cousin got Henry VIII.
Well, I'm about to finish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Calm down, everyone.
Okay.
To host a Tudor quiz for my 30th.
Oh, it's one of those Henry VIIIs that wander around being Henry VIII.
It's usually redheads.
Yeah.
Which is, so I'll start again. My cousin got Henry VIII from Hampton Court Palace to host a Tudor quiz for my 30th at a pub in Camden.
That's nice, isn't
Divine Miss M would have loved it. I would have. Can you imagine?
Please tell me that when he turned up, he didn't have his gear on. Imagine the worst thing that could happen to a birthday surprise if he just turned up in like a hooded top and that. Oh, no. Henry VIII. Is Henry VIII? It's all right. He hasn't been cancelled for his attitude to women.
Anything.
I mean, he hasn't been cancelled. I mean, I don't think he was great.
No.
I think, I'm not certain. I haven't checked today's feed, but I think all history has been cancelled, hasn't it? Isn't that?
I think, you know
Henry
what?
VIII.
Some people are beyond cancellation, and Henry is one of them. We were also talking about competition-winning capitals.
Oh, yes.
Those capitals that you think, come on.
How did they get it?
How'd you do that,
They
mate?
wrote in to a radio show and they won the capital
They're
job.
capitals that are punching a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, one of mine has always been, it should be Istanbul.
Oh, yes, it's Ankara, isn't it? Yes.
Ankara.
Yes.
And we've got our readers have sent in some others.
Right.
And not just sent in other suggestions, we've actually had a little bit of almost a creazione from 300.
Go on.
Okay.
Morning, New York City was the capital of the United States from 1785 until 1790. Tar, Luke from Kidderminster. And they add, or Kiddie, in brackets.
Kiddie. I used to play cricket in the Kidderminster League. Famous for carpets, Kidderminster.
Yes.
Used to be.
And pedantry.
But that sort of, one could argue that enhances my point rather than shoots it down, because they had it right, and then they
got it wrong.
and then they messed it up.
So close, so far.
Yeah.
I give you.
You don't know what you had. I saw that. When I went to Buckingham Palace on the night of Princess Diana's funeral, I went to see the flowers, and someone had written on a thing, "You don't know what you had, Charles," in a quite aggressive way. And I thought, oh, is this the moment for that? Vitriol. Anyway, that's what I think about when they got rid of New York and made it Washington.
You don't know what you had.
Yeah, you don't know what you had?
I'd like you to wander around saying that just randomly at strangers in Manhattan.
I don't know who was responsible for that. It's quite a big decision. I mean, what would New York think about that? Oh, by the way, you're not going to be capital anymore. Right.
Did they fax the news to them?
Yeah. So that fax we had about Brasilia, maybe it wasn't a practical joke after all.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Outside World. Oh, no.
We've
had a suggestion for the welding chair, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Regular correspondent to the show, Ian Angel.
Yes.
I think it's Ian Angel. 740. Ian Angel is in the welding chair. I set up Angel Welding in Croydon in 1978 when I was 18. Now I've given my age away. And then there's some praise. I won't read that.
I like it when people say things, and now I've given my age away.
Exactly.
Only people who say things like that, that's what gives their age away.
Yeah.
He's saying that. Oh, I'm 21, actually. Well, I might have thought you were if you hadn't said it like that.
Yeah, it's the...
We'll get some other welders texting in now. It'll be like
Do you think it's
TIG. They'll be playing TIG, these welders. That's a welding joke.
Is it? I wouldn't have got that.
It's quite specialist interest, that.
It is, yeah. I've not got many.
I've always fancied a bit of welding. I like the mask.
Tell me about it.
I like the mask.
Yeah.
When I was a child, we used to get toys that involved some welding. I remember. You used to get a tiny little hot thing that you plugged in, it got hot, and then you'd just melt a bit of whatever that stuff's called. Is it called weld? Have I made that
maybe.
up? Anyway, I now people have got, Xbox and stuff. They don't want to weld anymore. The kids.
I'll tell you what else.
They won't weld.
The kids, it turns out, don't just go to normal parties these days.
Oh, man.
What did our lovely Faye say earlier, Frank? Do you want to share with everyone?
Faye, who is the assistant producer on this show, and is 26.
Oh, you're giving her age away.
Oh, no. She said, I went to...
I love it already.
I went to an app launch party the other night. An app launch party. They had a screen and there was a circle and somebody pressed a button and the thing steadily went round clockwise. And then at the end, a big sign came up that said, what does it say, the sign that comes
Buffering.
up? No, what's the one that you press on, though? Open, open comes up. And then everybody goes, way, like Times Square when the ball goes up for
I like
New
to
Year's
think
Eve.
when it was the grey circle, the clock was going round. There was a bit of a lads, 10, 9.
Oh, I like to think that because you never know with an app. Sometimes they stall. If I kick three or four updates off at a time, I will actually pick the one I think I'm going to win just to give it a little bit of excitement in my life. I bet they're all there going up. What a night out that must have been. You know, people say I turn up for the opening of an envelope. No, I literally turned up for the launch of an app. Gosh.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
John Bell, Amsterdam, not The Hague. It should be.
Oh, yes, that's a good
The
one.
Hague. I can't. I'm the William. I mean, they've gone with the William.
I know
What are
The
they
Hague,
thinking?
though. I mean, is it the only capital with a the?
I don't like the anything for a capital.
No.
I'll be the judge of that. You don't deserve a the.
I'm going to The Hague. Where is it? No, it is. It's a place.
It's a bit boastful as well. The Hague.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It suggests all the other capitals should have A in front of them. Or an Amsterdam. Anyway, that's a very good one, The Hague.
Yeah, I like The Hague.
It's one in quizzes. All these catch people out in quizzes.
Oh, all the time. Mm-hmm. Danny Tolhurst has got in touch regarding gifts. About 10 years ago.
Yeah, I asked about elaborate gifts that you've given or been involved in.
About 10 years ago, I wrote a Mr. Men book in Swedish for my then girlfriend. In the story, the translation of her character's name was Little Miss Challenging.
Oh, that is a bit of a...
It took me ages to write and produce. The relationship didn't last much longer.
Oh, no. Well, that is a... If you're going to go to the trouble... I remember I was on holiday with a friend of mine and he had got his first ever girlfriend. And she was called... I think I can say her name, can't I now?
It depends who it is.
She was called Alison Piers, right? Mm-hmm. And she was one of those very attractive, but with a kind of a Joni Mitchell look, that long, straight, hippie hair. And he wrote a postcard. It's quite exciting, be writing the postcard to his first ever girlfriend. We were away in a caravan in Burnham-on-Sea. And he wrote on the address, he put to Alison P. And she'd got quite big ears that stuck out the side of this straight hair. And when he wrote Miss A. Piers, and then he couldn't resist it in brackets, he wrote A. Piers after it. And she split up with him on the strength of that joke.
Oh, dear.
But I like the idea. He had his first ever relationship on one side of the seesaw and a joke on the other, and he took that risk. I loved him for that.
Almost a parable for any young people considering joking in early relationship days there.
Yeah. Eventually, I think every comedian that can remember that moment in their life when they had to choose between comedy and kindness.
I think we know which way they went.
Exactly.
Anna Banana.
Anna Banana, oh yes.
I got a street caricaturist to draw my dad from a photograph. It was a bit risky, though.
Yes.
As someone who's sensitive about their most prominent features. What do you think of that, getting the street caricaturist? Because I have to say, it's a bit of a whatever happened to.
It is.
You don't see them that often.
You see them in Paris.
They've been
I think there's a couple on Shaftesbury Avenue.
Yeah, they've been replaced by the vape stores now.
I would say, and I'm a great lover of art, they are without doubt the one branch of art that makes me feel desolately depressed. I can't think of anything worse in the art world than those caricatures of the big face and the...
Where do they go to art school? Is there a caricature art school where they say, no, you've got to do the chin bigger and the bigger teeth? Why do they all draw the same?
Do you remember that U2 that used to be on... TFI Friday in enormous papier-mâché heads? They run a boot camp for street caricaturists where they draw them and then they take those proportions away and apply them to their various victims.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I have a news story that I'd like to discuss. A 6-year-old boy this week found a shark tooth, but not really a shark tooth. It's a giant prehistoric megalodon tooth that might actually be 20 million years old. He's a young man called Sammy Shelton.
Giving your age away there.
Megalodon. Yeah.
And he was going looking for megalodon teeth, and
that's always the thing, that though, isn't it? Isn't the idea that you just stumble across? You don't go out looking for megalodon teeth, do you?
I don't think so. But it
seems like you're going to have a lot of disappointing afternoons.
Yeah, I think he started with needles in haystacks. And then he thought,
glad you said
too easy.
haystacks.
I
didn't like the way this story was going.
You still want to start off with ring pulls on the beach. That is about you find them regularly, and then work up to megalodon. I have to say, I saw a picture of it. I've got teeth in my head that look worse than that. It's actually aged pretty well.
What, the shark tooth?
Yeah. Also, the expert said it's up to 20 million years old, which is very sale poster in window, up to 70% off, 2% off, in other words.
So because I didn't realise until I saw this story that megalodon, it means big tooth.
Does it really?
Because mega, big, ledon, presumably that's like a French, is it?
Don't know.
Yeah, ledon is teeth. I don't know what the etymology is, but it does mean big tooth. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't be going around saying that to a shark. You got any sense? No. All right, big tooth. I mean...
Well, who would you say it to? Exactly.
That's classified.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading the expert in the article I read was telling us about the megalodons, and he said they are ambush hunters. So they sort of come out, you swim, they come out of nowhere, and then they drag their prey away. Something. I was thinking a sort of megalodon Markle. I mean, this is comedy, guys. Any young comics listening, you can have that. You can have that. Try it tonight. People will say this guy's a bit special.
No, you're all right, love.
And also, what about this? He said about the megalodons. Their favourite food was whales.
Yeah,
but obviously he was married to Camilla. No, it was... no, he honestly said that, though. He honestly said...
Just got royalty jokes for this link. Is that what it is?
Is this? Al, he's going to be doing Prince Charles' impression next.
Yeah, the sound made by the megalodon. No. You don't get enough megalodon royal family mash-up comedy, I always think. I've said that to you. I must have said that on the air before. No, but they are true facts. It is an ambush hunter, and its favourite food was whales, which is... That seems to me
it's a big
just
dinner.
greedy.
I'm beginning to think sharks are very spoilt. Favourite food, whales.
Yeah.
Only like warm water.
Mm-hmm. Do they only like warm water?
I hate that. That's our area. Like, stay in the cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Only like warm water.
Megalodon. Megalodont, I say.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
How many syllables in megalodon? Because I call it megalodon. Should it be megalodon?
Oh, I've been saying megalodon.
That might be right.
I say megalodon. Do you know why? Because it sounds like a sort of...
It's got mega, which is...
It sounds a bit mafia boss who's a bit insecure and needs even more bigging up.
Yeah, megalodon.
Here he comes, the megalodon.
Yeah, I can see that.
Ultra Magnus, guys, has got in touch, one of our regulars.
Oh, yeah.
He has a question. Who sits in the big tooth chair? I mean, this is a tricky area. We don't want to upset anyone. He's got some examples.
Okay.
I mean, how do we feel about mentioning these?
Well, it depends.
I don't want to hurt a megalodon's feelings.
No. I'm guessing like Rob Beckett would be happy to be in it, for example, because he talks a lot about his teeth.
Also, he's such a handsome fellow. I think it's fine.
And good company. He seems like he's,
good company.
Oh, do you know
I hope I never get that review.
Do you know what? Smells lovely too.
Does he really? What does he smell of?
I don't know. Just
you see, megalodons.
Vitality and health.
Yeah, I don't imagine they smell great.
I reckon megalodons. They probably need those little breath sprays. You know.
Oh,
well,
do you know they are disgusting. I really
late review.
What the breath? What, megalodons or breath sprays?
Megalodons. I know, Al, but I can't move on. I just think they're horrible.
They can move on, of course, because don't they have to move all the time, sharks, or they die?
Yeah, but I think they make that up just as an excuse because they're commitment phobes. Oh, we have to keep moving, can't stay on one place.
Yeah, it could be that.
It's one of those, wherever I lay my hat, you know what they're like.
Whenever I lay my tooth.
The tooth looks less like a tooth and more like a bike saddle.
Yeah.
It looks like.
I hope it turns out this kid's...
a whole mouthful of bike saddles. What a weird...
Wouldn't it be great if it turned out, after all this, the kid had found old bike saddle?
He'd be gone.
Oh,
Can I say what I hate most about megalodons? No, but the thing is, what have they got to
That's
recommend?
a good texting. What do you hate most about megalodons?
No, but come on, guys, they've got nothing to recommend them. They've got black, disgusting teeth, which they move about all the time, so they can't commit. And to make matters worse, do you know how many teeth they lose in a lifetime?
Oh,
no.
I don't know about megalodons specifically, but sharks.
Right.
They reckon up to 30,000.
What?
Yes.
Per shark?
Yeah, because they lose it every 8 days, they lose a teeth.
Yeah, apparently sharks are obsessed with unpitted olives. That's one of their main fibre sources.
Which is not easy for them.
No, it's difficult. They
have
leap.
To swim off the coast of Italy a lot.
Yeah, they leap and just catch the branches on the top of the arch and then back into the water. Of course, there's no scope for pitting mid-air. No?
I would say, I met, are you familiar with Simon Reeve? Lovely man.
Oh, Simon Reeve, who's
The
the
documentary maker.
Globetrotter.
Exactly. Lovely man. And he tried to...
I tell you what he loves, an ethnic scarf. That's his favourite. There's ones that students used to wear in the 80s and no one wears anymore. Simon Reeve, I imagine, opens a wardrobe and there's about 50 of them in there. I'm thinking, Sudan. I think I'm going to Sudan today.
Look, he rocks a scarf well.
He does.
He tried to sell...
Has he got a terrible throat? Is that the... Okay.
No, he tried to sell me sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Wait till the RSPCS hear about this story.
RSPCP, the Predator Protection. Oh, yeah, I was saying that they were great.
Well, I think the fez is being raised. So maybe we'll come back to this.
Yeah. I mean, I hope Packham's listening. He'll be furious that the travel guy, the guy in the travel chair, is giving advice which should be coming from the natural history chair, which Packham is encircling as Attenborough sits there having a cocoa, pacing up and down. How long's he going to be?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was talking about... Sorry, Al, over to you.
I was going to say, I believe we're on a Simon Reeves cliffhanger, aren't we?
We are. Simon Reeve we were discussing sharks, as
Yeah.
one does
Yeah.
with Simon Reeve, and I told him they were one of my pet hates.
Yeah.
And to use one of our favourite phrases.
Yeah.
And Simon said,
Put your hands on your head.
Put your shark on your head. Yeah, go on. Put your scarf on your head, more
"Isn't
like
your
it.
tooth a bit black, mate?" No, and Simon said, look, he basically tried to sell me sharks, as I say.
Yeah.
Pointed out they're much maligned, the shark. They're more sinned against than sinning.
Really?
Listen, he says they're quite fearful creatures. They only attack really out of fear and because they're a bit defensive.
I thought they ate stuff.
Not
though.
really. They don't set out to eat people. And as he pointed out...
They're not going to play the old marine excuse. I know we're plankton. We're mainly plankton. That's our big... Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, OK, there was that guy and that one as well.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he pointed out... I mean, they just need a better PR. Because if you think about crocodiles, and I know you do, Frank, a lot.
I do. Crocodiles of the world, one of my favourite natural history locations.
But they are absolute devils.
Are they?
Oh, Frank told me something once about crocodiles, which I've never forgotten. It keeps me up at night.
What's that? About how fast they are across the ground.
No, tell me what they do. Because they stalk you, don't they? They come out of the swamp to get you.
Yeah, they'll chase you and then drag you back in. It's pretty...
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The shark wouldn't do that.
No, a shark couldn't do that unless it had a small trolley, which they don't have at their disposal.
What he's saying is we need to show a bit more love to sharks.
Yeah, I think you should say, look, never mind all that. What's your favourite competition winner capital?
He would know.
He'll be brilliant on it, man. He's the guy you want on your competition winner capitals quiz team that night.
Sure.
I got one, guys. Switzerland, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it is.
Well, there you go. That's
It should be Zurich.
Yeah. Or Geneva.
Yeah, so what is
not.
it?
It's Bern.
No, it's no
Come
good.
on. No good.
Yeah.
No good. Could do
rubbish.
better, as
It's like
an
if,
ex-girlfriend's mum once said to her. Could do better.
About you?
No.
I'm sorry.
She'd...
Sorry, Frank.
She was a photographer and she took some photographs and her mum said, she said, what do you think? She said, oh, nice, could do better. So, yeah.
Wow.
Good.
But that's what
Good
parents
feedback.
are for, isn't it? I mean, it's to sort of keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
This young man who found the megalodon tooth, I think that
Charlie
is his hobby.
Chipshop. Was he called Charlie Chipshop?
I don't think that's quite right, but something like that.
Something like it was very like Charlie.
I don't think it was Charlie Chipshop.
What was it then?
But fair play to him, I think.
What was it then? It was very like...
Sammy Two Bellies or something?
No, it wasn't Sammy Two Bellies.
Oh, what was his name? Sammy something. It had an S, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it had two. It was.
Sammy Sheldon.
Sammy Sheldon.
That's
Okay.
right.
What did you call him? Charlie Chipshop.
It's very close.
Charlie
Very
Chop
close.
Chop.
Anyway, sorry, Al. Carry
I
on.
like the fact that he found it, and I do feel sorry for his friends at school who, like, their boast is that they found Wally in Where's Wally books, and he's like,
right.
I'm a sort of a different league, actually, lads. You know.
But,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be a good text. And what's the best thing you ever found? I found 80 quid in a wallet with a mate,
Did you?
and even though there was a name in it, we kept the money, 40 quid each. At the time when 40 quid would buy you an house in Oldbury. And I know it's bad, really bad. And because we couldn't buy material goods with it, because our parents would have said, well, where did you get that? Motorbike and sidecar from? So we had to spend it on drink, and that's what triggered my terrible thing. So hand it in. That's my advice. Or you'll get your punishment.
Similarly, Frank, I once found a signed Benedict Cumberbatch Hamlet programme.
Oh, I remember that.
Barbican,
Isn't it?
yeah.
And did that start you on a drinking spree that never really stopped for about 20 years?
No further questions.
Okay, fair enough.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I mean, I appreciate this is of no use to you, but I would like to confirm that Frank Skinner is equally as funny off air, and I wish we could sometimes broadcast the things you say.
Okay.
Because you just really make me laugh. I would like to move on. I mean, I'm not moving on. I'm moving to...
Sideways. Move sideways.
I always move forwards, though.
Okay.
Like
Losing teeth as I go.
Shark. I went crab, you went shark. Let's call the whole thing...
Croc.
Marine life.
I tell you, I would like to... We're still in that manner.
Mm-hmm. What, Davy Jones' locker? Okay, topical this week.
Have you not heard of that?
Go on then.
There has been talk, and I think this will excite you, Frank, because I tell you what, Al, Frank's very into sort of ideas of the future.
I like a robot, generally.
Exactly. The robo-dolphin.
Get in, as they say.
These are... The idea is that they're to be used in marine parks, essentially, because obviously some consider the old ways very cruel.
Very cruel. Yeah.
Apparently they have the same skin texture. They've been developed by a San Francisco company. It's all San Francisco, isn't it?
Always. Does thingy still exist? Silicon Valley, is that still a thing?
I think it's still a thing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And these dolphins, apparently they're very lifelike. They've even yellowed the teeth to make them look like dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that they used a technology called yellow tooth technology.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, applause from the production team.
Production team.
I mean, it's based on the idea. I didn't know about this. Do you know James Cromwell, the actor?
No.
He was. He played the farmer in Babe.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And apparently, during the filming of Babe, he got to like pigs so much that he became vegan. Because he couldn't cope with the slaughtering of aforementioned pigs.
Yeah.
So he's become now, if you saw him, you'd know him. He's a really good actor. He's become a sort of animal rights person.
Oh, yeah.
This very week, he walked into Starbucks when he found out that they charge more for plant-based milk than for cow milk, and he glued his hand to the counter.
Wow.
Oh, he didn't.
So he's a guy. But he went into SeaWorld, and did a protest. And he says, and I'm guessing he would have checked this out, that marine animals die a lot earlier if they're kept in captivity. Considerably earlier. So I think it's time for robo-dolphin.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they look pretty plasticky things anyway, dolphins, do you think?
Yeah,
that's true. They're the sort of the surgery world of the animal kingdom.
Yeah, they don't look natural at all. So I think you're better off going plastic and not being so cruel.
Well,
that's my
I have
argument.
swum with the dolphins.
Have you really? Well, let's come back to that because the producer's shoving me again. But yes, I'm keen to hear about that. You might have caught the last... because they're not in captivity, I take it, are they? Are they on leads?
We'll find out shortly.
Okay. Was it your podcast, Walking the Dolphin?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Briefly, things we found. Neil Sutcliffe, £20 note in a pair of jeans bought from eBay. The jeans cost £20.
Oh, that is great.
I thought you might say that, Al.
That is
that
good.
That is really great.
Tough
on the seller, but really good on the buyer.
Yeah, who sells a pair of jeans on eBay?
Al gave us an entire match commentary. He was so excited.
Oh, what a sick note. You're so hard up, you need to sell your jeans, and then there's a £20 note in the pocket
Who
you didn't know
sells
about.
jeans?
Well, it's a good question.
Sorry, Al. I've got you here.
8, 12, 15. That's today's texting.
Yeah, we don't want to buy it. Maybe people like them a
don't
bit.
Don't just text us a bloke called Levi. We're not interested in obvious answers.
Also, Jenny, a photograph. This is things I found. Best things I found. A photograph of 2 chickens torn in half, as though they'd had a dramatic breakup.
Wow.
And she sent us a copy of the said photo, which is absolutely marvellous.
That's good.
I once found a portable CD player in the street in Edinburgh playing with headphones coming out of it, and it was on, I think, track 6 of a Rage Against the Machine CD. It was just there on the pavement.
I'd be worried. Was you looking around for the hidden camera thing? That sounds like a kind of hidden camera TV show.
It was a very odd moment.
Did you keep it?
Yeah.
It sounds like you might have been on Rio Ferdinand's You've Been Murked, which only ran for one series, but nevertheless, such a shame. It was his version of Shane. It was his Shane, You've Been Murked.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It was, yeah, that's true. Do you think there was You've Been Murked too that was never shown?
Well, I remember because he got through a lot of his contacts, obviously, because of course he went big for the opener with Beckham.
Oh, yeah.
And then he jumps out of the car and says, David, you've been murked.
Yeah, by the time you're on Ronnie Wahlwork, the commissioning editors are going a bit cooler.
Anyway, meanwhile, back in the ocean with the Robo-dolphins. Oh, was I going to tell you about when I swam with the dolphins?
I think you were.
Well, I am now.
Right, yeah, the real ones, as far as you know.
I do appreciate this is a somewhat controversial area. I was reassured that these dolphins were very humanely treated, but would I do it again? I don't know. You know?
Should they be treated humanely? Isn't that the problem?
Treated marinely.
Oh, marinely, that's all right, yeah.
I was in Discovery Cove.
Okay.
They're not paying me, nor have they ever handed me any money in a brown envelope.
What I like is you didn't tell us how you got to Discovery Cove. We just found you. You were discovered.
Yeah. Well, I was in there. My godson Harvey said, "Yeah, I've made a discovery. This place sucks."
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not in front of the dolphins.
Yes.
I hope.
In front of the dolphins.
Oh God. Not on porpoise. I'm sorry, everyone. So I tell you what, let's have a breather after that one. Bit of a palate cleanser. We'll have a bit of sorbet. We'll come back to it into some real jokes.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
These
in one of our niche textings about things we've found, 917. I think this might be a slightly controversial one. We'll see. Things I found: £400 in an ATM outside my building society. Queue inside was so big, the man standing by the door wouldn't move to let me in to give it in. So I just took it home.
People always have that. Yeah, I tried to.
I tried to do my best.
At least I didn't try that with my wallet story. We just had it.
Yeah.
I mean, people say the British love queuing, but what they love more is 400 quid, it turns out. You know, that's the...
that is true. By the way, this I read on the Robo-dolphin thing, a kid said they were trying it out at one of these parks. And a kid said, well, it came over and said hi, and we didn't realise it wasn't a real dolphin. Did it actually did he mean that it said hi? Do they speak? Right. And we didn't realise it was a real dolphin. It wasn't a real dolphin. There's something... are they going to... I went to one of those dolphin things when we didn't know any better. And they said, is it anyone's birthday today? And someone says, yeah, this kid called, I don't know, David. And the dolphins went over the top of like it was slightly, like they were singing it that tune. But it's you could have them actually singing Happy Birthday if you go for Robo-dolphin.
Well, I mean, you could have them do anything if they're robots. You could ride them, we could surf them, we could do all sorts.
You could so excited.
You could do the name. You know when robots do the name on, so it would be Happy Birthday, dear. Angela. Happy birthday. That horrible moment when the names
it's
are different.
It's like when you go on the ET ride at Universal Studios, you give your name at the start so that when you get to the point in the ride, ET says, hello, Frank. Or whatever.
Oh, really?
But what they had to do was there were so many silly Billy youths giving offensive names, I'm afraid. So funny. You always knew, because I remember being on it once and I heard these lads behind me and I heard E.T. saying, hello, friend. You just got friend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and if you got friend, you knew you'd been trying to mess with E.T.
These, apparently, they retail... These robo-dolphins between $40 and $50 million.
Oh, hang on a sec. I'm out.
God, I just get Nina Conti with one of those oven gloves. those sharp oven gloves.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about who was in the welder's chair. I mentioned Nina Conti in the last link, realising that she, for me, is in the ventriloquist's chair, I think, if I thought. Right. But I thought that would actually be a very good Radio 4 programme, in the ventriloquist chair. Because you didn't get the real guests on, had you? You can just... Yeah. It'd be just somebody going, no, I had a very difficult life, son. I had a difficult... And you can imagine that terrible thing on the vent done with the slow blink. Terrifying.
Oh, yeah. You see, I'm always a Nookie Bear.
Oh, yeah. I did a corporate with Nookie Bear once.
What was his name? Roger?
Roger de Courcy.
Oh, yeah.
Who told me that he'd resolved never to go to Wembley again after he was involved in an incident in the Olympic Gallery. So, yes.
Best things I've found.
Oh, yes.
Sir Andy says it's got to be this Frank Skinner show live in Birmingham, filmed at the Hippodrome, that I found on YouTube. It's made me laugh for years and given me great pleasure.
Great news.
Stick around. Hang out. Maybe get your hands on Shane.
I wouldn't count on that.
And then Chrissy says a 10 bob note found in 1967.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford furniture, so spent it on two cushions.
Used it as a welcome mat.
Spent it on two cushions, which we put up against the wall, and proceeded to watch our tiny rented TV, which was sitting on top of a tea chest.
Oh.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Well, were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the days.
The days of abject poverty.
Those were the terrible days.
By the way, I got a nice gift from Rachel Rackham. And she sent me a tin, listen. And they are Bob Ross. You know Bob Ross, the joy of painting? Yeah. Bob Ross Happy Little Tree mints. Mm-hmm. And they are mints in the shape of Bob Ross-like trees, the ones he does, like those pines he does on his mountain scenes.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
It is a nice picture of Bob on the front, looking alive, ironically.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. God, I've already forgot your name. Forgive me, Rachel Rackham. Rachel, one of those Rachels with an AE.
Oh, this thank you for the mints would have gone well with that woman whose surname was Lamb.
Louise Lamb.
We both didn't do the lamb joke.
No, we fought the lamb joke,
and the lamb won.
But here we are.
Yeah.
We said we fought it, but in fact we lost.
Do you know it'll always find you? It will always find you in the end.
It's difficult though, isn't it, Louise Lamb? You can feel all these things triggering in you to try and... it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else? What else about the dolphin? I'll tell you what, my prediction for the dolphin, one of the most depressing things in life is going to a museum and there's a working exhibit that's broken. You're pressing the button. I can imagine this dolphin like about 50 yards from the tube.
Yeah.
Not the tube, the pool, with tarpaulin just about concealing it, but you can just see a bit of rusty flipper.
Or even worse than that, when the battery runs out and there's viewers in the dolphin-looking gallery and they walk in and it's just floating on the surface of the water.
That'd be.
And now what I don't like is the voice box. The generated voice has gone a bit, so it goes.
Happy birthday. No. Also, the keepers will probably, like the Luddite keepers, will probably destroy them with big chunks of coral.
Luddite keepers?
Feed it like a real dolphin?
Well, you don't need the
sound
keeper.
like prehistoric men, the Luddite keepers.
You don't need the keepers anymore, dear, if you've got a robo-dolphin. So they're going to be out of work unless they destroy them, just like the old mill workers had to destroy the machinery.
Wow, I wasn't expecting this. I'll tell you what.
Didn't expect it to lead to Ludd's hammer.
I didn't expect there was some rant on the Industrial Revolution.
I'm not. I could see their point, the Luddites, and I'm with the keepers on this one.
There'll be more of an Ed Harris Truman Show figure in a beret.
Okay. So look, thanks for listening to us, and if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.